All right, welcome to the first Facebook live stream of 2017. This is Jason Goldberg back with another episode of What Will You Create Today, your daily dose of possibilities, prosperity, and fun. And the last P is always silent. Instagram people, what is going on? Christine is here. Christine, what's up? So great to see you. Happy New Year. I see people coming on to the Facebook feed right now. Alicia's here. So good to see you as well. And today we're going to be talking about some really fun stuff. Instagram people, as always, I'm going to leave this feed up for just a couple minutes, but if you want to hear the whole message, and this is going to be a good one, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant today. You're not going to want to miss this. So head over to fbjason.com. That's like facebookjason.com, but don't put Facebook Jason. In fact, I had Facebook Jason and Facebook cut me off. fbjason.com. It will redirect you directly to my Facebook page, and you can watch this live so you don't miss any of it. People that are coming on right now, I see Eric is here. I see Marion's here. So great to see you both here right now on the Facebook feed. And it's awesome. Marion says, hi. Hey, Marion, what's up? Rita's here. I actually made it live. Awesome, Rita. So great to see you here. Eric's here, my man. What is up, brother? Happy New Year. Heather's here. People are showing up on Instagram. Love you guys. And I'm super excited to talk to you guys today. I'm going to be on a little bit of a rant. That's kind of been sticking out to me. As always, make sure you turn on live notifications so you know when I go live. And if at some point during this broadcast you think somebody else in your world needs to hear it, and this is going to be something that I guarantee people in your world need to hear, make sure you share it with your friends and following so that they have a chance to be a part of this conversation as well. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic new year so far. And to everybody coming on still on Facebook, great to see you guys here. Thank you for being here. You know, it's always fun trying to see kind of who all's here. There's still not a really easy way to see that, but I'm trying my best. Storyboard Media is here. I don't know who is here from Storyboard, but Justin or Ben or Hamed, whoever it is, love you guys. Send me some love here on Facebook and on Instagram if you're here, just so I know you're here. Say hello. Tell me where in the world you are. Replay viewers, love that you're here as well. Live viewers, love you a little bit more because you're here live with me. And we're going to be talking about some really incredible stuff today. So what I want to talk about today is maybe a little controversial, like I said, maybe a little ranty of me, but deal with it, right? Deal with it, because you guys are my tribe. And I know that if you're here because you want me to tell you the way I see it, right? And the way I see it is not necessarily the way it is, but to me, it's the way it is, right? It's my truth. And so I'm going to say things that may be a little polarizing. They may kind of sting a little bit, and that's good if it stings. It stings me to say it because what I'm going to talk about are things that have impacted me a lot. And so I just know and I trust you that if you're here and you're a part of my tribe, that we're on the same page. And so this may not be a message that directly affects you. It may be a message that 5% affects you. It may be that people in your world need to see it. Whatever it is, I know it's the message that needs to come out of me now and that you need to hear. Love, Balance, Wellness. I think that's Sophia. Happy New Year to you as well on Instagram. Thanks so much for the love. Hop over to fbjason.com so you don't miss any of the stream. And Marion says, I'm committed. Irene says, hi, wonderful. New funny year called Jason. I love Irene. She's so great. So great to see all you guys. And so the title of this stream is, if you thought 2016 was rough, 2017 just might kill you. And I want to share about that and also the simple self-leadership shift to make sure that doesn't happen. So yesterday, sometime over the weekend, a friend of mine posted a Facebook status, somebody I respect a lot, and he wrote, 2017 will be, and then a blank, right? For everybody to fill in whatever they wanted to fill in. And people were filling in all the awesome superlatives that you would expect. 2017 is going to be epic, and it's going to be awesome, and it's going to be the best year ever, and I'm going to be wealthier than I've ever been, and healthier than I've ever been, and happier than I've ever been. And have you guys seen this? Like the people that are like really into this? Yeah, so you guys are showing me some love. Alicia, you've seen this happen. Yeah, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. And then of course there were the people the real gems that said, 2017 will be hopefully better than 2016. This is the face that I think they make when they type it. Better than 2016. So that's fine and good. That's all great. And I'm glad everybody kind of, chimed in and said what they wanted to say. My response in total, typical douchebaggy life coach self-leadership way was 2017 will be no different than 2016 if we don't choose to be different ourselves. It's going to be no different than 2016 if we don't choose to be different ourselves. And it was so funny to me because, thank you for the love, guys, on Facebook. Jennifer, Happy New Year. So great to see you. And jump over to fbjason.com to watch the full stream because I'm going to cut this off soon and you're not going to want to miss this. And you guys probably saw this. In the week leading up to the end of the year, there was a fucking mutiny against 2016. Please show me some love if you saw the mutiny that everybody's saying, like all the memes and all the posts about how crappy 2016 was and how they can't wait for it to be over. And of course, how like 2017 is going to be so much better. Did you guys see this, or is it just me? Was I the only one who saw these posts? Yeah. So you guys saw them as well, right? These passive aggressive posts that are like, 2016 sucked. I'm so glad it's over. At least they didn't take Betty White, which actually was pretty funny. I kind of like that one. And maybe you're somebody who posted one of these like, memes and you didn't mean for it to be passive aggressive and you didn't mean for it to come across like a prisoner. I'm not finding fault with you. I get it. And the reason for this stream is that I want you to win. I want you to win in 2017. I want to stack the deck in your favor, so that all the superlatives that you would use in that 2017 is going to be underlined, that they can become the ways you actually describe 2017 when you look back on it, right? Instead of going through the same cycle of eventually hating on 2017 in the last week of the year and then putting all your faith in 2018 being better by some stretch of the imagination. You guys getting this? Yeah, Marion says crazy. Eric says LOL. So you guys have seen this as well. So my goal today is to share with you the choice that you have as a prisoner or as a self-leader, right? And those of you who follow me, that this is my core work. At any given moment, you can choose to be a prisoner or a self-leader. It's the entire point of the book here, Prison Break. And again, I don't know where this is showing up on Instagram and Facebook, but it's the entire thing there is that you have a choice at any given moment to be a prisoner or a self-leader. And so my goal here is to share with you the choice that you have to be a prisoner or a self-leader and having the 2017 that you wished that your 2016 was. And that if we're being honest with ourselves, that we wished our 2015 was, and that we had wished our 2014 was. And it's like this cycle that we keep carrying forward. And I don't want this to happen anymore for you or for me. Okay? So let me slow this down for a second. This is not to say that I don't think anything less than ideal happened in 2016. I'm not stupid. I'm not lying to myself. I'm not wearing rose-colored glasses. I'm not trying to be delusional. There was tragedy. And there was death, and there was heartache, and there were trials and tribulations, and there was despair, and there was loss, and there were real challenges that all of us faced. And that's why I want to help today and going into 2017, right now, right in the beginning of the year, so you can just jump on this and really be ready to go, is I want to make the most clear distinction I can about how a prisoner and a self-leader view those events and how they move forward to create the life they want. Okay, would that be helpful for you guys to show that to you? Maya says yes. Marion gives me the emojis with the hands up, which I love those. Cool. So you guys are into this, good. Instagram people, I'm cutting off the feed. Shinan, glad you're here, but go hop over to fbjason.com, watch the rest of the feed, because we're about to dig into some really, really powerful shit. So I'll see you guys over there. Much love. Peace. So, that's what I want to do here today is I want to share with you guys the most clear distinction I can about how a prisoner and a self-leader view those events. So listen up here. This is it. This is the simple thing. If you get this after I say it, feel free to leave and you'll have everything you need, but I'm going to dive a lot deeper into it. So I would say stick around if you really want to get this at a core level, not as information, as transformation. If somebody in your world needs to hear this right now, share it now because the real big stuff's coming and I want to make sure they have a chance to hear it. If there's somebody in your world that you want to make sure they have an incredible 2017, hit the little share button and make sure they see it now because people need to see this message. I really, truly believe it. The prisoner lives in a world of content, okay? Not content like being content. The prisoner lives in a world of content, okay? The opposite of that, the self-leader lives in a world of context, okay? Let that sit for a minute. The prisoner lives in a world of content. The self-leader lives in a world of context. What in the hell do I mean by that? And why should anybody care? Do you guys get that? Just right away, I just want to know your first thoughts coming up. So people that are on the Facebook live stream right now, what do you get? Do you get that when I say content versus context? Will says, hell yes. Irene says, I'm curious to see what will happen. Jennifer says, I made it. Awesome. So glad you're here, Jennifer. Thanks for hopping over. Eric says, Tiger Blood winning, channeling your inner Charlie Sheen. I love that. That's awesome. I have so many inappropriate jokes that I'm not going to make about Charlie Sheen right now. So you guys get it. Robbie says, hello from Romania. Shout out to Sean Stevenson. That's how we heard about you. That's awesome. Sean's my boy. Just texted him a few minutes ago. Hopefully going to see him next week. So the prisoner lives in a world of content. The self-leader lives in a world of context. Let me explain. I want you to look at this right here. This glass represents the year 2016. This is 2017, it's 2016 rather, right here, 2016. What do you see when you look at this? What do you see when you look at this? I want you to tell me for real. What do you see when you look at this? Think about it for a second. And what if I told you that the answer you give me about what you see here will determine how prosperous and how happy and how fulfilled and how successful your 2017 will be based on what you tell me you see here? What do you guys see here? Sanders says, not quite sure. I'm curious. Okay, that's cool. I dig the curiosity, right? The I don't know mind, which we talked about last week. Being an idiot has its advantages. That's okay. You can be an idiot right now. That works for me. Will says, I think I've got it. Cool, good. So yeah, keep that coming in. But think about that, guys. What if I told you the answer you give me for what you see here will determine how great your year is going to be? So here's what you probably see. Marion says, yummy black currant juice. Okay, so I know what you see here. It looks dark and it looks very murky. And although Alicia made this for me, she assured me that the color that she got here was using totally digestible charcoal. I'm not touching this shit because I know for a fact she has a life insurance policy. So I'm not taking any chances on this. But here's the difference between what a prisoner and what a self-leader sees when they look at this glass. The prisoner sees the content of the glass, the dirty, murky water. The prisoner sees the content of the glass and then names the glass for its content. All of a sudden, this is now a dirty glass. They have taken the content, which is dirty, murky water, and decided they will name the entire glass based on that content. Does this make sense? Tell me yes if this makes sense for you. Irene says, what is it? How could you exploit this occasion? Eric says, a jar half full of what? Not sure. Very true. Think about this, guys. The prisoner sees the content of the glass and then names the glass for its content. And here's what the prisoner believes, okay? Here's what the prisoner believes. The prisoner believes that at midnight on New Year's Eve, God or the universe or nature or something or someone gives them a new glass. They believe when the clock strikes 12, they are given a new glass, and that new glass is 2017. Because if the dirty glass, the dirty contents of this glass have now encompassed the entire glass, the only thing we can do is hope for a new glass, and that's what a prisoner does. They have this faulty belief that the glass and its contents are the holder of our future, that they are the dictator of our happiness. Does that make sense? Are you getting this? Jennifer says, so what you're saying is you can change the content. Exactly, change the content of the glass. Because right now, the prisoner looks at this and says, the content is the glass. The content is the glass. But here's the trick that no one wants you to know about, that the self-leader is fully aware of. And so I'm confident that a lot of you are already fully aware of this, or maybe you just need a reminder, and I'm fine with this just being a reminder, is that the self-leader knows that on December 31st of each year, when the clock strikes 12 and you kiss your significant other or the closest person to you who doesn't have vomit on their shirt, you never get a new glass. You always have the exact same glass. It has always been the exact same glass. It is always simply the same vessel. That's living at context, not content, where the dirty glass is what it is, right? The dirty contents is the glass. Now you've colored your entire year right away, and the only way to get away with it is to get a brand new glass, but that's not the way of the world. The way of the world is that you've only ever had this one glass, and just like a bowl that holds cereal is not cereal, it is the bowl. And if the cereal gets soggy from sitting in the milk too long, we don't blame the bowl. We don't say that the contents inside the bowl we know that the contents inside the bowl is what created the situation, right? The contents inside here, the dirty water is all you're seeing. It has nothing to do with the glass. We don't think that if we get a new bowl and we put new cereal in it and we put new milk in it, that there's going to be different results. Because the bowl never changed. The bowl is the same. Does this make sense? Marion says, I love that. Irene says, absolutely. Marion says, yay, a few Scottish girls are watching. Rita says, change the mindset. Exactly. So the self-leader takes that same understanding of the bowl of cereal that knows that a bowl that holds cereal is not the cereal, right? It's just a bowl. And they apply it to life. No matter what circumstances they faced in the last 10 minutes or the last 10 months or the last 10 years, while the prisoner names the glass for its content, the self-leader lives from a place of context. They live from a place of context. Thank you for the love, guys. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you're getting this. I'm really, really happy you're getting this because it's so important. I don't want to see people suffer staring at the contents of this glass and saying that is going to be their next year, right? It doesn't work that way. So the self-leader knows that whatever is in the glass, whatever made it murky or scary or challenging or sad in the past, it can be and it must be emptied to make room to create new content that serve us. You're not getting a fucking new glass. This is the glass you've had since you were born. This glass is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with the year 2016 or the year 2017. It's all in this glass. And the self-leader isn't delusional. They don't look at the dirty water and say, wow, look how clean and clear it is. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's the opposite. It's the exact opposite. The self-leader is so clear and so aware of what needs to happen to the dirty water to give them a chance to succeed. The prisoner, on the other hand, they find fault and they shame themselves and they blame themselves and they blame others and they hope that this year they're finally going to get a break, that the glass is going to at last see how unhappy they are or see how much potential they have and clear itself out for you. Right? They use these platitudes that, life's going to be awesome this year. 2017 has to be better than 2016. Fuck you, 2016. You sucked. They use these platitudes to fool themselves and fill themselves up with this crap belief that this year the universe is finally going to have your back or the universe is finally going to take personal responsibility for your life. And I know what this looks like firsthand, not just because I see it every fucking year on my Facebook, but because I lived it for the first 30 years of my life. Has anybody ever been here before? Am I the only one here? Shinan says, I love that distinction and use it with my clients all the time. I love that. That's awesome. Let's see. Eric says, okay, I got that one already. Awesome. Marion says, how would you explain to people how they can get rid of what's in the glass? Perfect. And we're going to go into that in just 1 second. Awesome question, Marion. Nicole says, we all started with the same glass. It's what you do with it that matters. Yes, exactly. The same glass. And what I did was for the first 30 years of my life is I wasted my power and my energy and my imagination and my possibilities on something outside of me that I was hoping was going to come to my rescue. Something that was going to come and save me. And so what I want to make crystal clear for you, no pun intended, what I want to make crystal clear for you is that when you choose self-leadership as your approach to having an epic year, you're so much more creative than the part of you that says the glass needs to do something. 2016 sucked. 2017 is going to be awesome just by virtue that it's a new year. This goes back to a video I did last week or the week before last about getting rid of positive thinking, right? To end positive thinking for life. The prisoner wants 2017 to be different, but they're confusing the glass for its contents rather. And they use those superlatives like awesome and like epic and like legendary, but not because they necessarily are ready to take a role in creating that, but because they feel like if they say it enough, that maybe the glass will hear it and make it so. And the self-leader may use the same exact superlatives. Like I've been texting with friends, Happy New Year, 2017 is going to be epic. Like I'm using those same superlatives. I'm not trying to be like a grammar Nazi and say you shouldn't use really cool, fun, empowering words. But the difference is that when the self-leader uses those superlatives, they back it up. They back it up with a level of ownership, with a level of personal responsibility, with a level of being and action in the world that makes it so. They don't live in a world of positive thinking. They live in a place of possibilities and possibility-based thinking that creates instead of waits for those conditions to occur. Creates instead of waits for those conditions to occur. So Marion said, how would you explain to people how they can get rid of what's in the glass? I love that. Great question. So how does a self-leader do this, right? So this is what I'm telling you. Self-leader is able to do this, empty out the contents, recognize that the glass has been here all along, the exact same glass, and they can fill it with whatever they want going forward. They don't have to be a prisoner to the past year, and they don't have to be a prisoner to their own hope and faith that next year is going to be better, right? They can get past all of that. Well, here's how a self-leader does it. A self-leader lives in truth. A self-leader lives in actual reality, not the story of reality that's so easy to fall into prisoner mode. They live in actual reality. They create the thinking and the beliefs that serve them to feel and live the way they want to live. Right? They question the stories they may have about 2016 and what went wrong and the role they played in creating how they felt. Right? Not to find fault with themselves, not like you shouldn't feel sad about things that happened in 2016. Guys, I'm not telling you to like numb your emotions and like not mourn things that happened in 2016, to not feel bad, to not feel sad. Fuck that. Like feel whatever you feel. We're talking about moving forward here. We're talking about now what? Right? Feel that. Feel all that you need to feel. But there comes a time where it goes from feeling what you want to feel to being self-indulgent mental masturbation that takes you in a downward spiral that you'll never come out of. So for the people here who are self-aware and say like, no, I want to feel what I feel. Yes, feel that. And when you're done feeling that and you're ready to move forward, this is when you start questioning stories about what those bad things, those things that went wrong, mean in the grand scheme of things, especially going into 2017, and to recognize you have the power to create a totally different experience of your world in 2017. A self-leader will look at the dirty water, right? They're going to see the tough times they went through. But here's a big, huge difference with what a self-leader does when they see this dirty, murky water. Is that they know if they're going to assess the year and how tough the year was based on the context, right? This is of the content inside there. We're not saying the glass, it's a dirty glass. It just happens to be a glass with dirt inside. If they're going to spend time assessing the year for how tough it was, that they need to give equal airtime to the things that went incredibly well. Equal airtime to the things that went incredibly well. This doesn't even occur to a prisoner. A prisoner sees nothing but the low light reel, right? We talk about people living in a highlight reel. The prisoner only sees the low light reel, and it's not reality. This is not about positive thinking. Again, it's about truth and reality. And I guarantee you that if you mapped out every second of your life in 2016, there would be exponentially more times in your life that you had the ability to choose being happy and content and supported and cared for and getting exactly what you want and loved and approved of and validated and being creative and all these amazing things. You would have exponentially, like to a factor of 12, bigger than the times where you felt despair, and yet despair is how you have categorized 2016 if you're coming from the place of being a prisoner. A self-leader gives equal airtime to the things that were tough and the things that were incredible. Marion says, love that. Allison said, just like if you stay in the bath too long, you get all mildewy. I mean, feel it, allow it, and then get out of the dirty water tub. Fucking beautiful. Exactly, Allison. And you get this, like you know how this works. And I never want to tell anybody to numb their emotions and just reframe and do a spiritual bypass and all that crap. This is not for you. If you're in something right now, feel it, work with it, deal with it in your own way. I'm talking about everybody else here who's ready to get out of the dirty water in the bathtub, like Allison said. I love that. Irene said, amazing. I'm starting this here, another journey to explore myself and empower it to be a better servant coach. The journey is a training called 12 Empowerment. I'm excited and curious how I can act more effectively. Beautiful. Jennifer says, reflection. Yes, reflection, so important. Rita says, there has to be action. Yes. Mandy, nobody is coming. That's the bad news. The good news is the same. You got to empty and refill your own glass. Love this. Yes. I see, this is why I fucking love you guys, because you get it. This is so incredible. Okay, so that may seem kind of lofty, right? How do you give equal airtime? Because it's hard, right? If you really are in prisoner mode, and believe me, I know I say this all the time on these Facebook live streams, I still get in prisoner mode, guys. This is not a permanent pervasive personality disorder or whatever the opposite of disorder is. What is the opposite of disorder? Who knows? But whatever that is, it's not one or the other, right? It's a moment by moment decision. And so when we're low, it can be hard for us to really focus on the highlight reel. And so I'm not telling you to focus on these huge things that you think I'm telling you to focus on. I'm talking about giving equal airtime to the places and the times in your life where we were unconditionally supported. The victories we had, the fact that without really asking for much of anything in return, our bodies and our minds worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to support us in doing whatever it is that we decided to do. I mean, just that alone, take a second and think about that. Teresa says, the more you move in the shit, the worse it smells. Very true. Think about that for a second. Think about just your body and your mind. Those motherfuckers work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and don't ask for shit in return. maybe a little bit of sleep, a little bit of food, a little bit of water. But the ratio of what it gives and what it asks for is like ridiculously in our favor. Our bodies and our minds support us, even at least for me, when I give it reasons not to, when I don't rest, when I don't eat well, when I don't hydrate enough, when I don't work out, my body's still there for me. And with every piece of truth that you bring to this exercise, every piece of gratitude, every acknowledgement of your growth moments, even if they felt very painful, every unimaginable gift that you have received in the past year in your inner and outer world, whether it brought you happiness or pain or sadness or euphoria or overwhelm or elation or love or heartache, whatever it was, every time you acknowledge the truth of what actually occurred in 2016, a little bit of that dirty water spills out. And it's not even because you're necessarily like taking the water and spilling it out, but because it's a law of physics, right? Just like Allison was talking about with the bathtub, right? Like the more water you put into something that's full, something has to pour over. I experienced this a ton every time I tried to take a bath when I was 332 pounds, right? The water would come out very easily. So when you use this radical approach to self-leadership, right? Before you know it, the contents of the glass, this innocent glass that does nothing but selflessly give you its all. This glass gives you its all the time, its entire container to do with it whatever you will. It's a rolling 365 days that never asks for you to bookend it and say, those 365 days sucked. And I hope these next 365 days are better. It's a rolling 365 days, an entire container that wants nothing more than to be there for you. And when you do that, when a little bit at a time comes out of here and it gets more clean and a little less crowded, and now you have the space and the clarity that you need, then you can choose what to start putting inside of it from now on. It's super easy for us to blame our past and to be a prisoner to all the heavy stuff that we experienced in 2016, whether it was stuff that directly affected us or affected our family or friends or affected, the world at large, politics, whatever it is. I don't want to take any of that away from you. If it serves you to stay in that right now, stay with it. But I want you to remember something that may sound kind of sad and kind of harsh at first, but it's actually one of the most freeing things you can ever hear. And it's kind of like what Mandy said about no one is coming. It's that wherever you go, that's where you are. Wherever you go, that's where you are. I say this all the time. The same person who walks into the boardroom is the one who walks in the bedroom. The same person who walks in the boardroom is the one who walks in the bedroom. Or if there's kids around, the same person who sits at the conference table sits at the dinner table, whatever. If we aren't willing to see the truth, that the glass is not defined by its contents. And if we can't show gratitude for all the incredible, unyielding support that we received from people and things around us, then we have a very, very clear picture of what 2017 is going to look like. We're going to miss all the blessings, all the opportunities, all the stuff that we missed in 2016. It's going to be the same way in 2017. And so if we aren't willing to step into self-leader mode, give equal airtime to the lowlights and the highlights to really see just how loved and supported unconditionally we were last year. Be prepared for that to infiltrate to your work, your family, your health, your relationships, your finances, because wherever you go, that's where you are. And that's beautiful, because if you want things to change, the only thing that really has to change is your thinking about things, your explanation, your interpretations of your past, of your present. And that's beautiful, like Mandy said, because it means if you shift the way you look at this glass with regards to one area of your life, one part of your life, then it has no choice but to filter into all the other areas of your life. That's like the most true transformational bang for your buck in the world. So here's my challenge to you. And I want to give you a real challenge that I want you to do with this, right? I want you to take this into the world and make it a real challenge. Jennifer says, haha. Eric says, love that. Teresa says, Jason, I just popped in now, so I'll have to watch the replay, but I just love that I can get so boosted up by your energy when it's almost midnight here. Lots of love. Thank you so much, Teresa. I love you too. Shinan, brilliant way to explain it. Powerful. I love it. Allison says, what up, friends? Missed what looks like black moonshine. So here's what I want to challenge you to do. I want you to do this for yourself as a real exercise in your world. I want you to go get a clear glass and I want you to fill it with liquid and some food coloring or some charcoal, as Alicia called it. She wants me dead, it's obvious. Or dirt or whatever. I want you to fill it with all the shit from 2016. And people who are asking how to do this for other people, go do this with somebody else. Go do it with your clients. Go do it with a friend. Do it with your kid. Do it with your spouse. If they're open, don't force them to. Fill it with liquid and fill it with all the shit from 2016, all the stuff you wish didn't happen, all the stuff that you think your life would have been better if you didn't have to deal with it. And then I want you to put the glass down, just put it right down in front of you and take a step back. And I want you to see how the liquid took the shape of the glass that you put it in. And I want you to see how strong and how stoic and how unyielding in support the glass is being. And as woo-woo as it sounds, I want you to thank the glass. I want you to honor this glass that has been with you since day one. I want you to be grateful for the glass. And I know it sounds silly and I don't give a shit. It's important for us to slow down and do this. Because the easier, the faster that we can disconnect from the content and get into a place of self-leadership where we live in a place of context, that this is simply a vessel that holds liquid, that holds experiences, the faster we can turn our attention to the contents of the glass and start to make a shift. And so with this glass down in front of you, and you've thanked the glass for how stoic and unyielding in its support it is, I want you to turn your attention to the contents of the glass, and I want you to recall every time that you can that you were supported by somebody or something, by your body, by the chair you sit in, by the car you drive in, by the plane you flew in, by the people around you at work, the people around you in your family when you went through a tough time, the people you were able to support in their tough time, every victory you had, every smile that was put on your face or that you put on someone else's face, every tough time that you faced, because obviously that shit couldn't hold you down because you're here right now looking at me, talking to me. And I want you to look at, with every one of those realizations, every time you have a realization of just how loved and supported, of how many highlights, non-traditional highlights you had in 2016, I want you to pour a little bit of that water into the sink until you're left with a completely empty glass. This empty glass then is sitting there as your biggest fan. The thing that has been there for you all along and just wants to support you in any fucking way that it can to create whatever it is that you truly want in the world. And then I want you to take all that recaptured energy and all that creativity that used to be wasted on wishing and waiting and hoping that 2017 is going to be epic and awesome just because you say it is, and start taking purposeful, intentional actions to fill that glass with new contents that actually serve you. This is how a true self-leader creates an epic, prosperous year, month, minute, hour, day, second. This is how they do it. So let me see what questions you guys have. Anything coming up for you right now? Marion says, feeling really thankful. Yeah, me too. Irene says, my result will be hallucinating. That's awesome. Hallucinate your ass off. Eric says, love that. Awesome. You guys are incredible. I really hope this is helpful. If it's something that you think could help somebody else in your world, please make sure to share it. It's something that I am doing as my own practice, and I would love for you to do it as well, and tell me how it went for you. And I want you to start having access to the tools to be a self-leader right now. If you haven't gotten a copy of my book, there's a link in the description of this Facebook Live to go download a free digital copy, PDF or Kindle, or you can get a free paperback copy if you're in the US. So click that link and get a copy if you don't already have it, and just get into this mode of day by day, moment by moment, choosing to be a self-leader, not living in a place of content, right, where the dirty water is your year, but instead living in a place of context where the year is innocent, the year loves you, the year wants you to succeed, and you have control over what goes into that year because you are a self-leader. I love you guys so much, as always. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being engaged. Thank you for sending so much love. Thank you for your comments. As always, you guys truly rock my world. And until next time, lots of love. Mwah. Peace.